Hello and welcome back to the web development course. So in this tutorial, we'll be looking at HTML lists, the unordered list, ordered list, and HTML description lists. So we're looking at using the type attributes and some of the different properties that we can apply to HTML lists. So first up is the unordered list. So here, to create an unordered list, we need the URL tags, open and close, and then we have some items. So the items tag or the list tag, li. So these are going to be different items in the list. So for example, A, and if I just copy and paste that 2 more times, and then we can view it in the page. There we go. So we have a unordered list. Okay, so the ordered list, the only change that we need to make is the U, change it to an O. Now we have an ordered list. So let's look at the unordered list again. And now let's look at the ordered list. So you can see the difference. The ordered list will have a numbers or other properties at the front here that we can define. So let's have a look at some of the principles of unordered list in a little bit more detail. So here we go back to the unordered list and we have circles. So maybe you want to make a change to that. So what we need to do is to create a style, define the style. So let's add a new style here. So this is a little bit of CSS. So we apply a style list, style type, :disk. So this is going to set a list of items as bullets. Now this is actually the default option. This is what you see here. So this is the default option. Okay, so we can change this into 4 different values. We have disk, we have circle. So let's see that. So there are 4 options available for this attribute style here. This list style type none, list style type square, circle, and disk, the default option. So let's have a look at none. So this is none. So what you'll find also is that the ordered list has a similar attribute that we can apply. And this is called type. So if I type this in equals and then put the double quotes, if I can find that on my keyboard, you see that we've got 5 options here. And these are the options that are available to style this list here, this ordered list. So we have number 1, which is a default, which is the numbering system you saw. We have the uppercase letters, A, B, C, D, E, F to Z. We have lowercase letters, and then we have the Roman numerals, uppercase and lowercase. So those are the 5 options we can choose for type. So if I select I and then go back and refresh after maybe I need to save, yep. And there we go. So it's probably not a very common attribute to apply, but you can see that we can apply attributes and eventually styles to this ordered list or unordered list to make these lists more interesting and really fit into our design. Things we might want to style on this list are, for example, we might want to make horizontal and vertical lists, particularly if we're going to make a navigation bar. That might be a set of lists, or it might be a list. So moving on to the last type of list is the description list. So HTML supports this description list. A description list is basically a list of terms with a description of each term. So let's see how this looks. So here we are. This is an example of a description list. Notice that we're using 3 different types of tags here, the DL tags, open and close. We've got DT for the title and then DT for the item. So let's have a look to see what this looks like on page. There we go. So we've got the title and then we got the item. So that concludes the 3 different types of lists that we can create with HTML. So something else that we might consider, that we might need, is nesting lists. So we can nest a list inside of a list. So I'm going to copy this list and paste it right here again. I'm going to nest it right there in between B and C. And we're going to have a look to see what that looks like on the page. And there we go. So you can see that it utilizes a different set of list items here. So we got the blocked, the default, and then we got the circle. So again, that's just a case of going into the style and changing the style. So here I've added list style type style in this UL set square, and then I've gone to the second UL attribute, included the style attribute, sorry, and then the list type square again. So I can make it nice and consistent if I want to. Okay, so that gives us a brief introduction of lists. So lists get really interesting once we start applying CSS. There's lots of different attributes we can apply to lists to generate different styles and apply lists in different ways to make it functional on our page. So, but looking at our goal was to develop an understanding of developing multiple list types of HTML. So we've looked at the unordered list, how to create a simple unordered list, an ordered list, and using the type attribute. We also looked at HTML description lists, and we looked at a little bit of CSS, applying that to the unordered list, to change the different types of bullet points, for example.